Hey everyone, what's the crack? Welcome to this week's track guide. It's Calabogie. It kind of looks like two dinosaurs looking for directions. The top tip for this week is follow the cones. Let's do a track guide. So as ever, let's look towards the last corner. I don't know the corner names here, but we're coming up to the last corner just now. It's called Wilson's. So up to start, finish straight. The format, by the way, for any of you who don't know, I'm going to do a flying lap, then we're going to break it down turn by turn. I'm going to give you any setup advice that I can give. So here, brake nice and early, third gear, grab a little bit of that curb, nice and slow here, and keep the accelerator. If you can go flat there, great, because you'll get a faster run at this straight. We'll go into more detail there. Coming down Rocky Road now, keep an eye on the signs on the left, and you want to brake at that cone. Brake really, really hard. Third gear, go right out to this cone, and then cut back in and stay close to this cone. You'll probably see why the whole cone theme is my top tip. Those cones kind of mark your apexes where your car should be. So here again, brake, go towards the cone on the inside, brake again, out to the outside and cut back. I could have done better there, could have probably carried more momentum, but it's okay, this was my fastest lap. So way out to the left, this is a complicated section. I slam on the brakes a little bit, stay in tight here, grab these two apexes, brake at the first cone and cut back in here, get a nice run at this corner. You saw me slightly over rotate. Brake nice and early here. When the fence changes colour on the right, we'll go into more detail there. I could have done better in that corner as well. Go way out to the left here, turn in just before the cone. And here I lift off slightly, again turn in just before the cone. Go out towards that cone on the left. You don't need to go all the way out there, maybe you do, but I didn't think I needed to. And treat that last sequence of corners just as one big corner. So let's dive into doing the whole lap and break it down turn by turn. So this is what I was saying, this is the last section of the previous lap again. Treat this as one swooping corner. You see me going all the way over to right here. Again, better aero, you could probably do better. This was my out lap, the first one, so my tires were still a little bit cold. But let's go into, this is where the lap actually starts, where the line is here. So the lap starts, you're flat out, absolutely flat. Now, you want to go towards the pit wall on the left, and the marker is, see the end of the tires here? That's kind of where you want to brake quite hard down to third gear. And you're still carrying relatively a lot of speed here. So still doing 120 kilometers an hour or so. Out to the left here towards that cone. Don't grab too much of this curb because it will pull you off into the side. And now here, this is a vitally important corner. Don't underestimate this corner. You will lose a half a second a lap if you don't just nail this one. So again, and also I'll cover it in a later section, but this corner is super important for when you're passing people out. If someone's holding you up, you need to nail this corner because you will absolutely do them on the next straight. So here we go. Watch the turn in. So you see the steering wheel. So I'm going relatively straight. See the turn in before the end of the curb on the left. So you're already turning. Now I'm not too confident on the throttle if you keep an eye on the throttle, but I'm not completely backing off the throttle either. You can probably do better there, but that's a nice conservative, safe way to do it. Absolutely flat up the straight. Down Rocky Road. Now you've got the markers on the left. I missed them there. So we've got the 3, 2, 1. I use the cone. So just before that cone, brake very, very hard. You can see how hard I'm braking. The pedal indicator here. Brake hard, hard, hard. And only after, or just before this cone, I guess, turn in. Go right out to this cone on the left. Now you see I got a slight wobble of understeer, so I could have done better there. Way out to this cone on the left. And just before that cone on the left, you want to already start turning in. Now this is a fairly understeery setup. You guys can try it out. It's in the description below. So is a link to the track and to the car. And you want to really get on the throttle as early as possible. So you see here, I actually brake, I'm on the throttle a little bit, out here, brake again. So even though it looks like one corner on your mini map, it's actually two separate corners. You've got a little acceleration zone in between, so bear that in mind. Go as fast as you can here then, up the straight. Now this is an interesting corner, but it's actually laid out for you really nicely. I'm sure people are struggling with this if they're looking for this track guide. So this cone out on the right, that's your braking marker. So you see that's exactly when I start hitting the brakes. Go in towards the left. It's called Temptation, this corner. I wonder, is it because the temptation is to stay really close to the apex? But what you want to do is try and line up this cone, and just behind my pedal marker here, there's another cone, and you want to really go out wide towards that cone. The wider you are out towards this cone, the better run you'll get at this corner. So it didn't really, like, if you are way out on the right here, you should be able to pin the throttle. You see I have to back off the throttle here. You should be able to pin the throttle and get through there, because this is actually a flat out acceleration zone here. See a big long straight, and anytime there's a big long straight, if there's a corner for big long straight, you want to late apex it, which effectively means for that straight you want to be on the accelerator for as long as possible. That means losing your speed before the actual corner. So flat, 3, 2, 1. So just before the 1, hard on the brakes, but only for a little while. So hard, you see I'm about 50% braking. So maybe not that hard. Brake, turn in. Keep an eye out for this cone. This apex is very hard to spot, and that cone is way inside it. So you really want to just go, as soon as you do see that cone, you need to remember that you need to go slightly beyond that cone. So to the left of that cone, and you can see there's actually quite a natural racing line on the road. So I stayed a little bit tighter than that racing line, maybe because it's a Formula car, better aero. I'm running a very high, fairly high aero setup. Allow yourself to go all the way out here. You see, we've got two cones. Pay no attention to the far ones. This is your braking marker. I'm actually already on the brakes before it here on this lap. Brake, and then catch a late apex, get in nice and close to this curb. Don't get on this curb because it has a tendency to spin you around, and you can see the track already as you accelerate. I had to make a slight correction there. It already wants to turn you around slightly. Flat out here, and get prepared when you go into this dip. It's an on-camber dip, so you have quite a lot of grip going out of it, but keep an eye out for the wall on the right. That's your braking marker. As soon as that's beside you, so as soon as the wall goes dark, that's where you want to go hard on the brakes. Go out towards this cone, turn in, go in towards this cone. So you see I washed a little bit wide there. If I'd gotten a better cut in here, I probably could have gotten on the throttle earlier. Have a look at my throttle on the left hand side here. You can see me hesitate a little bit on the throttle because I wasn't sure how far that understeer was going to take me. So here there's a little 15 marker. That basically, think of that as there's a cone in 15 meters. Just before that cone, you want to start turning in. Keep an eye on the steering wheel. I'm already turning in before it here, before that cone. So just after that 15 marker, the turn in happens here, and I actually washed a little bit wide, so I could have turned in even earlier than that, but resist the temptation to turn in at that 15 marker because you'll be a passenger straight into the far wall. So out nice and wide to the right here. I lift off, keep an eye on my throttle, lift off slightly but not fully. So don't come fully off the throttle, you want to keep the car balanced. Out nice and wide towards this cone, aim for this cone, brake hard in a straight line, down to third gear, and then try and get in close there, out wide here, in close here, out to that cone and in close again. So a lot happens there, but just keep an eye on the cones. You want to get close to all the cones. So you want to get close to this cone on the right, you want to get close to the one on the left, again in to the right, you want to stay out on the right, and then you want to cut in here on the left and go all the way to that cone on the start finish straight. and this was a 1:39.97. So there's some room for improvement there, but it's a good lap. I'll be very, very happy if I get anywhere near this in my qualifying session. As for racecraft and setup, I've lowered the suspension a bit. My aero is relatively high, sorted out my camber, tire pressures. This is a low fuel run. As I said earlier, there are a good few straights here, so really nail those corners before the straights. There's no point in messing up a corner before a straight and then expecting to pass someone out. It's just not going to happen unless you're running absolutely no aero, but even at that, concentrate on the aero, the stability, get yourself launched out of those corners so that you can attack the car ahead of you, because we've all been there. When a car comes up behind you, it's very nervy, you're more likely to make mistakes, so put your mind in the car behind, become that car behind, go up to people, even feign that you're going to go and overtake them, even if you have no intention of doing it. Make them think that you're unpredictable, force the mistake from them. Often you gain the best positions by not getting in an intense battle. You just want to psych the car in front of you out. So super important on this track, nail those corners and the positions will come. Don't get too close to someone to the point where you can't see where you're going. Back off nicely, nail the corner, and you're going to absolutely blitz them on the next straight. So that's about it for this week's track guide. If you guys have any suggestions or suggestions for improvements, or if you want to try the car track and setup, it's all in the description below. Thanks a million for watching. I've been Lawrence, and I'll chat to you later.